Hello, welcome to Learn with Lakineni. In this video, I'm going to explain about Numpy. So the basic fundamental Python library. So everyone who has interest to learn machine learning, deep learning, and data science, numerical Python is very important for everyone's who is aspirant for becoming a data scientist. So there are plenty of libraries in Python. Out of those libraries, the first library everyone should learn is Numpy, that is numerical Python. So I want to create the complete content for numerical Python information. So by going through this video, everybody can understand what is a numerical Python and what is the importance of numerical Python in data science, machine learning, and deep learning and natural language processing. So in this video, I am introducing the basic information about what is a NumPy. So in the later classes, in the later videos, you will have a hands-on practical knowledge on NumPy. I am providing a hands-on information on NumPy with many real-time examples. I hope everyone will go through this video and will have the knowledge of what is a NumPy. So before that, you please subscribe to Learn with Lakineni and press bell icon, like it and share it, and thank you for your valuable time. So here the basic introduction to the NumPy. So NumPy means numerical Python library. So there are the Python is very rich in libraries like NumPy, SkyPy, Matplotlib, Pandas, sklearn. There are plenty of libraries in Python. So every library has its own importance. Similarly, NumPy is a basic introductory library which is necessary to start the career in data science. So in this video, just I am explaining the basic introduction and the importance of NumPy in present machine learning, deep learning areas. Okay, so there are two important concepts, NumPy and SciPy. So NumPy is numerical Python and SciPy is scientific Python library. So these are the two important libraries. So NumPy is a package, Python package. It stands for numerical Python. It is a library containing of multiple dimensional arrays, objects, and a collection of routines for processing an array. So if you NumPy means it is basically consisting of array package. So in day-to-day life, we come across so much of data. So you have to deal with the data in terms of an array. So in order to quick processing of the data, in order to quick processing of the analysis of the data. So here a fast array was introduced in the name of NumPy. So that is called as NumPy arrays. So here numeric, the ancestor of Python, which was developed by Jim Hagnin, and the package NumPy array was developed also. Having some important additional functionalities, in 2005, Travis Elephant created NumPy package by incorporating the features of NumPy array into the numerical Python. There are many contributions to this open source project. So what is the need of NumPy? Python performs all basic mathematical operations. But when it comes to the data science and machine learning and deep learning and artificial intelligence, we require to deal with complex mathematical operations like creation of arrays, performing several operations on those arrays, integral calculations operations, differential equations, statistical related operations. These type of operations are not supported by normal Python. So NumPy provides an easy access and efficient way of computing all these things. So NumPy introduces various operations that we cannot deal with the ordinary Python. So actually NumPy is built upon Python only. But Python is a basic fundamental language. When it comes to the NumPy, it is an exclusive package for data analysis. That means creating arrays, performing data operations on the arrays, analysis of the arrays, analysis of the data. You can perform linear algebra, you can perform linear regression, you can perform logistic regression, you can perform differential equation operations, you can so many things you can perform with NumPy. So NumPy is a general purpose array processing package. Every time I will say one thing that a NumPy is an array processing package. The basic element, the basic object of NumPy is an array. So you may ask, so what is the need of array? We have arrays in C, we have arrays in C++, we have arrays in Java, we have arrays in Python. Then what is the need of again creating a array in NumPy? So there is a information, there is an importance for creating an array in the NumPy that I will discuss in the coming sections. So it provides a high performance multi-dimensional array object. NumPy creates a high dimensional performance multi-dimensional array object. That means you can create any dimensional array object. That means in day-to-day life, when we have a data set, it has multiple features. That means we have to see that multiple features in multiple dimensions. So in order to see that multiple dimensions, if you can able to see that multiple dimensional is an array. So to deal with such type of data, here in NumPy, the high performed the array object was introduced. So array and its operations. So there are so many operations you can perform an array. You can retrieve the data, you can analyze the data, you can slice the data, you can modify the data. You can do so many operations with the help of tools in the array object. So it is a fundamental package for scientific programming and scientific computing in Python. So it is an open source software. The NumPy is an open source software. It contains features including important ones. So where a NumPy was developed, a NumPy is an n-dimensional array object. Okay, so it in that NumPy, most of the code was written in C, C++, and Fortran code. So you can use this NumPy for linear algebra. You can use this NumPy for Fourier transformations in electronics and electrical engineering. You can have the randomized capabilities in NumPy. There are so many capabilities in NumPy array. You may ask, what is the importance of NumPy array? So it is an n-dimensional array, is the basic for data structure of NumPy. NumPy is a backbone for remaining libraries like pandas, matplotlib, scikit-learn. So without knowing the knowledge of NumPy, without having the hands-on experience on NumPy, we cannot understand the further libraries called pandas, matplotlib, scikit-learn, etc. So NumPy gives the vectorization of the features. In Python, we have lists that serve the purpose of arrays, but they are very slow to process. We have lists in Python, but they are very low processing units. They are very slow to process the data. So that's why we are not much dependent on the list. For ordinary operations, lists are okay, but when you go for complex operations, your lists is not sufficient. It is very slow compared to the NumPy arrays. NumPy aim is to provide an array object that is very fast. That means it is mostly 50 times faster than the traditional Python list. So we are using Python list. So when compared to the Python list, your NumPy is very fast. That means it is nearly more than 50% faster than your ordinary Python list. The array object in NumPy is called as ndarray. So suppose if you want to see what is the type of an array in NumPy, the basic entity or the basic object is ndarray. All objects are belongs to the nd class. So ndarray. So the basic any array object in NumPy is called as ndarray. It provides a lot of supporting functions that makes working with ndarray very easy. There are so many functionalities there. There are so many methods are there in order to deal happily with the NumPy arrays. So arrays are frequently used in data science where speed and resources are very important. So in data science, maximum data we have to see in terms of vectors, in terms of arrays. So in order to speed up the process of analysis of the data, so we need to use the concept of arrays. So that's why a complete special package was introduced in the name of NumPy library. So the history of NumPy. NumPy stands for numerical Python. It is a fundamental library to perform complex numerical operations. NumPy is developed on the top of numerical library in 2005. A numerical library is already developed on the top of numerical library. NumPy was developed. Numerical library was developed by, that means all numerical operations was created in the name of numerical library by Jim Hogren. Later, for that numerical library, a programming touch was introduced by Travis Elephant in the name of Numpy. So Numpy is developed by Travis Elephant and with his core team. That means so many multiple contributors have developed this Numpy. So Numpy is an open source software. Okay. So Numpy is freeware and open source library. So Numpy library is written in C and Python. Interestingly, most of the part in Numpy was written in C language because the performance of C is very high. Because the C is a middle level language which is closer to the processor. That's why most of the part in Numpy was developed in Python language, C language. So most of the Numpy is written in C. So performance wise, Numpy is the best because of high speed. Numpy is the best choice for machine learning algorithms than the traditional Python inbuilt data structures like lists. So in Python, we have a special module called as arrays. But when compared to the Python arrays, Numpy is so robust and high performance. It is very high. So what are the features of Numpy? Super fast because of most Numpy was written in C language. Because of most Python was written in C language, that's why it is a most robust. And Numpy is a Python library and is written partially in Python. Most of the parts of the Numpy was written in C and C++. Numpy arrays are the basic data structures. What are the basic data structures in Numpy? Is an array, ndarray. So it is the backbone of remaining libraries like pandas, scikit-learn, matplotlib, etc. So Numpy has vectorization feature which improves the performance while iterating the elements. That means you have so much of data, you have so many elements. While if you want to iterate over the elements, Numpy gives the best features over iterating the elements. So in Numpy, the data is stored in the form of an array. So the basic element of Numpy is array. So we are storing the data in the form of an array. In Numpy, we can hold data by using array data structure. So the basic element is array. So it is called as array data structure. The array which are created by using Numpy are called as ndarrays. So we will call the Numpy arrays as ndarrays. Ndarray means n-dimensional array or Numpy array. N-dimensional array or Numpy array. So this ndarray is the most commonly used in data science libraries like pandas, scikit-learn, etc. So you just keep in mind that you have to learn the Numpy at any cost because Numpy is a basic package which you need to learn and you need to know about the operations on ndarrays so that it will be useful in further Python libraries like Python, pandas, scikit-learn, so many aspects. So where the actual applications of Numpy? The actual applications of Numpy includes linear algebra functions to perform linear regression, to perform logistic regression, to perform, it has a major advantage in a major importance in deep neural networks. And if you want to perform k-means algorithm, there you can use the Numpy. With the help of Numpy without using any scikit-learn algorithms also, we can perform the k-means algorithm. And in control systems, in Fourier transformations, also we can use the Numpy. And in operational research also we can use so these are some important areas where you can use Numpy frequently, and there is a lot of importance is there for Numpy package. So you can think of is Numpy is a replacement to Matplotlib? Yes. So before Numpy, people are aggressively used Matplotlib for scientific and numerical computations and for analysis, for data visualization. For all these purpose, MATLAB is a wonderful tool. But after the invention or introduction of Numpy, slowly Numpy is also replacing the importance of Matplotlib. So whatever MATLAB is doing, the same computational aspects we can do with the Numpy. So Numpy is often used along with packages SciPy, Scientific Python, and also Matplotlib for plotting the information. So this combination is widely used as a replacement for the MatLab. So that means the combination of SciPy and Matplotlib replaced actually the concept of the tool of MatLab. So a popular platform for technical computing is numerical Python. So however, Python alternative to MATLAB is now seen as a more modern and complete programming language. So usually we come in our programming languages like C, C++, Java, we have come across arrays. What is an array? An array is an index collection of homogeneous data elements is nothing but an array. So that means array contains similar elements, homogeneous elements. So here also the ND array also contains the similar elements. There is no, the definition of array is not changed in remaining language and the NumPy. That the basic definition of a NumPy ordinary array or the NumPy array is the same. It contains similar homogeneous elements. Okay, so it is the most commonly used concept in programming languages like C, C++, Java, etc. But in C by default arrays are there. In C++ by default arrays are there. In Java by default array concept is there. But whereas when it comes to the Python, the array concept, the default array concept is not available. So if you want the array concept in Python, you have to import the array module in Python. So by default array concept is not available in Python. Instead, we can use list. We can use list so that list also performs some array operations. But in Python, we have a special package, special module called as array. So by using the array module, you can perform the array operations, or by using the NumPy module, we can perform the array operations. That means in Python, there are two ways of implementing the array concept. One is by using the ordinary array module in Python, or in order to perform better with faster computation, you can use the array concept, or you can borrow the array concept from numerical Python, that is NumPy. So in the name of ndarray. Suppose if you want to install NumPy, so to the latest version of NumPy can be installed by using the pip command. So if you want to install any Python library, you have to use the pip command in your command prompt, pip install NumPy. So it will install the, suppose if you type like this, pip install NumPy in your command prompt, this will install the latest version of NumPy, the latest version of NumPy. Suppose if you want to install a particular version, suppose if you want NumPy 1.15 version, or if you want NumPy 1.75 version, 1.17 version. So if you want the particular NumPy version, simply you just type pip install NumPy, then is equal to, now you mention the version which you want, mention the version which you want to install. So here in this example, here I have used pip install NumPy is equal to 1.20.0. So this is the version which I want to install in my system. Okay, so these are the two ways of installing NumPy. There are several ways you can use. If you use uncoded environment, you can directly, sometimes in uncoded environment, NumPy will be inbuilt package, or sometimes you can have to use pip install NumPy. Like that also you can install the NumPy package, or also by using conda environment you can import the NumPy by using conda commands. So there are different ways of importing or installing the NumPy. So in later classes, I will tell you what are the different ways of installing the NumPy module in your system. Okay. Okay. So we have Python list and NumPy array. So what are the basic similarities and dissimilarities between the Python list and an array? So Python list can be used for the data storage, and NumPy array can be used for the data storage. So both can be used to store the data. So Python list preserves the insertion order, and NumPy also preserves the insertion order. That means in which you are inserting the elements into the Python list, the order will be preserved. In the same manner in which you are inserting the elements into the NumPy array, so your order will be preserved. Okay, so these are the some similarities. So next, both are mutable. That means what is a mutable? Change in behavior. You can increase the size of the list, you can decrease the size of the list, you can insert element in later stages, you can delete element from the list in the later stages. That means it is a flexible. That means either it can be increasing order or it can be decreasing order. That means mutable means growable nature. Growable in nature. Growable in nature means either you can increase or decrease. So what is going to be increased? By inserting the elements, you can increase the size of the list. What is going to be decreasing? By deleting the elements from the list, you can decrease the size of the list. The similar in the similar fashion, you can do the same operations in numpy array. So numpy array is also a mutable. Okay, mutable means you can change the elements, you can insert the elements, you can reach to a particular element, you can change a particular element. So you can do all these operations. That means numpy is a growable nature, either increase or you can decrease. Okay, so when it comes to the similarity, so lists and numpy array can be used to store the data, and they will keep the indexing in which you are applying in which you are inserting the elements. That means indexing and slicing concepts are applicable in both lists and numpy array. So when it comes to the change in behavior, so both are mutable. That means you can do any operations, any modifications once it is created. Once a list is created, you can increase or you can decrease, you can modify the elements from the list. In the similar fashion, once an ND array is created, you can do several operations, modifications on the ND array. So that means numpy array. So when it comes to the differences, list is Python's inbuilt type. You are not required to import any module. So by simply you can put the elements in these square brackets, list will be created, because list is a Python's inbuilt type. Okay, but when it comes to the numpy, it is not a inbuilt. You have to install the numpy. So we have to install and import numpy explicitly. Then only you can use the ND arrays. List can contain heterogeneous elements, but numpy array. So the array basic meaning is it contains the single elements. So in numpy array, we cannot keep heterogeneous elements. So always numpy array keeps similar elements. Okay, so on list we can perform vector operations. Okay, we cannot perform vector operations. Suppose if we have a list, if you want to multiply all the elements of the list with 2, so you cannot do any vector operations. That means you cannot perform any arithmetic operation with a scalar on a list. That is called as vector operations. But when it comes to the ND array, you can perform all type of vector operations on the ND array. So that is the base, that is the most and important feature of numpy. So in ordinary list, we cannot perform any vector operations. But when it comes to the numpy array, we can perform the vector operations. So similarly, arrays consume less memory than the list. So when it comes, when you take the list, the size, it occupies a lot of memory. But when it comes to the numpy array, it occupies less memory. That means optimization of memory is happened in the case of numpy when it compared to the ordinary lists in Python. So arrays are super fast when compared to the list. The performance wise, numpy array is 50 or 60% faster than the ordinary list. So similarly, numpy array are most convenient to use while performing complex mathematical operations. You cannot perform linear algebraic operations with the help of list. You can perform any linear regression or logistic regression or any Fourier transform type of operations using list. But when it comes to the numpy, because of its powerful nature of tools, you can perform a lot of operations on any type of numpy arrays, and you can perform any type of complex mathematical operations with the help of numpy, but it is not possible in the case of list. So these are the basic similarities and dissimilarities between ordinary Python lists and numpy array. So finally, you people just keep in mind that if you want to enter into the field of machine learning or deep learning or data science, first you go through the fundamental Python library called NumPy. So it is a very powerful package in which there are several operations to have to deal with the complex data and complex mathematical operations. Okay, so in the next video, I will start explaining how to practice the NumPy with practical examples on real-time environment. Okay, so I hope everybody have understand my video. So please subscribe and share it to your friends so that everyone can know what is a NumPy, and they can get the knowledge on NumPy. So this is the first video which I have done on the NumPy, which is a basic introduction to the machine learning. Thank you one and all. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Learn with Lakineni. Thank you.